Hello and welcome to the SME Focus show powered by MTDCNC. I'm Mark Weymouth from the Sensor Specialist Plus Automation. I'm here to carry on the great work this show does in supporting the UK manufacturing sector and highlighting SMEs. My guest today is Luke Appleby, a supporter of UK manufacturing, a fellow member of the COMEX Portal networking group and owner of Equilibrium Risk, a security company specialising in manufacturing businesses. Hi Luke, welcome to SME Focus.
Hi, Mark. Nice to see you. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for coming on. I think we're both suffering with man flu, so we're showing that us men persevere. Continuing my corny comments, can I introduce you with a very corny comment and say, Luke, you've been involved for most of your working life with security. So can you explain how and what I mean by that?
Yeah, I think my first job, funnily enough, was working in the kitchen. But since then, ever since sort of adult age, I've joined been in security. I joined the army at a young age for adventure, funnily enough, not because I had any desire to go into security, but I sort of liked traveling. I liked being outdoors, so I sort of fell into that side of it. And then in about 2001, I'd been in the army for a couple of years. Then the army got busy for obvious reasons, and then since then the army's been very busy. So yeah, spent about 14 years in the army doing all the stuff the army did, and then I left in about 2013 and started up Equilibrium Risk. And since leaving the army, the army's very good at security stuff, obviously, but it's not very good at getting those academic qualifications. So since then, I've sort of spent a lot of time converting that practical knowledge into academic knowledge. But yeah, I've been in security my whole working life. Absolutely love it. I think it's the best job in the world. There's nothing better than problem solving, understanding people's actions, how they use space, the good side of people and the bad side of people, and sort of trying to create a secure environment. And I can't understand why it's got such a bad name, security, but I absolutely love it.
Excellent. Well, if you spent your whole life in it, you must say something for it. You mentioned Equilibrium Risk. You set it up almost 10 years ago now. So what were your thoughts when you founded it, and how have they changed over time? What's different maybe from Equilibrium Risk 9.9 years ago and 9.9?
Yeah, 10 years. That's flown by. So we started it. I say we had a business partner when we first started. We started it purely with a view of we can do this ourselves. I think most business owners think, well, they can do it better than the people they work for. So we kind of sort of say, well, we can do this, and we can sort of take our skill and knowledge and make a difference. And that's kind of what spurred us on. What's changed? We quickly discovered that we had to do more than physical security. We had to incorporate a whole aspect of it. So when you're in the, it's one of the things I brought from the army actually. When you're in the army, we talk about the 360-degree battle. So it's not just about what's in front of you, it's what's behind you, what's above you, what's below you, but also what's sort of digital side of things, how you communicating, that sort of stuff. So we had to bring in this cyber element and into our service offering. We've managed to do that, and security has rapidly evolved into, so it's not just a case of physical security and cyber security. It's one element, this sort of convergence of security. So that's massively changed in the last 10 years, and it's changing quicker and quicker, especially with sort of AI and how that's panning out. So it's been a fast learning curve of 10 years. Yes, I know about security, but learning how to deliver a business that delivers security has been a massive learning curve over the last 10 years.
Okay, you mentioned AI, which is obviously ever more to the fore, and I mentioned in the introduction, maybe one of the things that makes your business a bit different is you really focus in on manufacturing. So can I sort of combine the two and ask the question of, let's start with, what are your thoughts about AI in manufacturing more generally?
I think AI is sort of slowly but surely permeating our whole lives, isn't it? So on a personal level, we use it for all sorts. I use it for running my calendar for deciding what the menu is going to be for the week, use it for everything, and it's sort of slowly permeating into what we do for work. So from the simple stuff like social media planning and that sort of stuff. But I think it's one of these AI is one of those things that's, I think it's everything. It's kind of everything everywhere all at once, isn't it? Everything does everything everywhere all at once. It's just improving exponentially, and it's slowly going to sort of go into manufacturing, sort of the ERP systems, MRP systems, and start integrating and starting running and improving those processes. So I think it's inevitable because of how we use it in our daily life that it's going to permeate into the manufacturing sector. And I think I saw recently about when they first had it sort of got AI out in the open AI out into the public domain, they sort of didn't really have a use case or an idea of what it's going to be used for. Whereas now they've got a much better idea of how it's going to be used and how they can market the tool for different sectors. So I think now it's just going to be a case of there will be a lot of AI tools for the manufacturing sector to start using and to provide value to the sector. And I think it's unavoidable. I think.
I think some of the challenge is probably explaining it, because machine learning's existed for a long time. It's just now branded as AI, and if you're selling a product, you've got to explain what the product is. So maybe that's the case with AI. Looking at the security industry and your sort of skill set, knowledge set, so how do you see that AI will change the security industry? What threats will AI introduce?
So that's a big question. So I mean, AI has been used in security for a few years now. So from the sort of low level sort of AI on security cameras, so understanding back in COVID, for example, whether people had face masks on, whether they're using whether they were wearing PP and stuff. I think the use of AI in security is going to increase. So they're going to use it more. So, for example, if you look at a basic access system to identify, authorize, and verify a user, so based on government documentation before they sort of authorize entry, I think that's going to become more used, and that's going to increase security. I think there's going to be more integration with the security systems. That's around the corner. The use of automated drones and driverless vehicles is something that's on the horizon. I know with the case of autonomous drones, there's sort of discussions with the CAA, so the Civilian Aviation Authority, about how to regulate drones in the airspace, and that's something that's on the horizon, and that will only improve the security for sites, sort of understanding the threat and verifying and getting a response to a threat. I think that's something that's on the horizon. We'll get better and improve the security of sites. From a threat point of view, the AI is the big unknown. So if you look at just purely threat intelligence, you've got sort of known knowns, so stuff that we know. Then you've got the sort of the unknown knowns, so stuff that we know we don't know. So we know that a hacker will try and send an email on a Friday afternoon, spear phishing, and try and get the CEO to release money. We know that. We don't roughly know exactly how we could do it, but that's a known unknown, for example. But AI sits in the sort of unknown unknowns, so we have no idea what's around the corner and what AI could come up with in terms of threat. So that's something that we're all aware of. I think from a manufacturer's point of view, I think it means they've got to rely more on better, more robust systems. So we've got to have better ways of identifying when things are wrong, really, really quickly, identifying if it's malicious or accidental, and then deciding what the follow-up is, what you need to do to stop it if it's malicious. So stop the incident from occurring and then get back to a normal working rhythm as quickly as possible. And I think with the introduction of AI, I think that's something that the manufacturers really need to focus on, is having those what we call layers of security. So we can do our best to prevent these things from happening, but in actual fact, we've got to rely more on our detection and our response layers of security to make sure that anything that does go wrong, we've got a robust plan to stop it happening and then get back to normal as quick as possible.
Okay, interesting. One thing that we do know is happening, so known, is next week we're both exhibiting alongside each other at Advanced Engineering. So can I ask you, what do you hope to achieve at the Advanced Engineering exhibition? Who do you hope to see?
Yeah, so I hope, so it's our third year exhibiting with Connex again. So it's always good to catch up with the members of that community. Because it's a national group, you kind of don't see people that often, sort of you see them online. So I'm looking forward to catching up with those, looking forward to seeing people that I've met a few times, make some new connections. They obviously make some new connections, but then see people I know. I like to see what's going on in the engineering manufacturing sector. So I see security as an enabler, sort of helping manufacturers grow and achieve their aim. So if we know what direction of travel they're going in, we can sort of align ourselves to be supporting that in whatever direction that is. So yeah, that's our main aim, and obviously all the great technology and the great engineering stuff that's on show is always always something worth going down for.
Boys and their toys.
Exactly.
Last question is a traditional question. Normally I'd ask you what's in store for the next 12 months, but I think I can probably rephrase that now and say, what's 2025 got in store for you in the business?
2025, yeah, can you believe it? So we spent a lot of time these last few months systemizing our process. We've come up with a bespoke process of how we deliver security. It's called the Prepared Framework, and we are pushing that for how long? Getting people to, rather than just think one-dimensionally when it comes to security, think the whole aspect of how you protect it from all angles. So we've developed that framework. We've started to run webinars for that, and we're getting some initial feedback from those, which is going down well. And we're going to push that out more, and hope to do our first live event for that in January. Not too sure where yet. I think maybe Huddersfield, because that's where we're based, will be where it is. But we'll see. We may end up doing a road show and then sort of going everywhere, all corners of the world and all corners of the country, and delivering that. But yeah, so we're looking forward to launching that, getting people on that, and learning and teaching people. Because I think it's not about being perfect when it comes to security; it's about being better. And so the idea is just to show people how they can be better, whether it's a better understanding what the risks are they face, or maybe it's better understanding what their response elements are. Maybe it's better. Maybe they need help in exercising and training their staff. So we've got all this prepared frameworks, lots of different elements that make up the whole security framework, and they're all sort of standalone. We can sort of help people improve, whatever they need to be. And like I say, if it's a case of sort of they don't understand their vulnerabilities, for example, they can come along for that module, and we can show them what their vulnerabilities are, or how they can assess those vulnerabilities. So yeah, we're looking forward to that, and then providing that information and helping manufacturers do what they do, because as great as I love security, our aim is to make manufacturers great.
Okay. Well, sounds like it's going to be a busy year, and hopefully it'll be another successful year for you and the business. So thank you very much for your time, Luke. I will see you next week. It should be an interesting week, let's hope, eh?
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Cheers. So I will wrap it up and say, if you'd like to get in touch with the show with a comment, a suggestion, or if you'd like to appear in a future episode, please email us at inquiries@mtdcnc.com, or contact myself, Stuart Whitehead, or Joe Reynolds. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. From me, Mark Weymouth at Plus Automation. Cheers. Have fun.